What is up, guys? The MRM official here with a new video. And before I continue on this video, I want to remind you to please subscribe, share the channel, like this video, and ring that notification bell so you can stay up to date for future videos. Without further ado, let's continue. People have been doing this kind of videos all around the YouTube community, which is called, I think, Storytime. But I remember I used to do this kind of videos back then. If I remember correctly, I would say about 2 years ago, and I used to post a lot of like mini stories on my Facebook page on what was going on and my different opinions that I had in different stories and all. But just to have some content here, I decided to make a little story time kind of video. And this takes place way back, I would say when I was in around second or third grade. So let's just cut to the chase. I remember being a victim of bully, and actually, I mean, sadly, a lot of kids still go through that, to the bullying part, and it's kind of effed up, man. So I remember this is what, like I said, this is way back in second, third grade when this all started. I remember being a victim of bullying, and I was just tired, man. I was just sometimes I was scared of going to school and so on. But I didn't even know from where that I had the courage to finally stand up to my bully. And I remember this one time I even got in trouble when I think it was in recess, which it was the lunch break. That's how we call it, recess. And I think we were in the playground area, and it was just another day. Sadly for me, it was just another day of getting bullied. So finally, this guy, I'm not even gonna mention the guy's name or whatever, even though he probably doesn't even know me anymore. We probably encounter, I don't even know if he lives in my area, but if we have encountered each other, we wouldn't even know. But so this one time, this guy comes up to me, and starts talking the usual, intimidating me and all that. So I don't know what got into my head, that I was tired of it. I was tired of being humiliated in front of other students. So I remember I landed the first punch, and that right there was like a victory. And sadly for me, I had to go to the front office because obviously I was in trouble of standing up to my bully, which in my case I didn't really care. It was such a I felt so satisfied just doing that, standing up to that fool. And I think it was at the same time, it was one of my worst days and one of my best days, because after that they quickly sent me to the front office, I believe so, call my parents and all that. So, but then from there on, that bullying, that stopped, and I think that, like, it's easy, and it's easy to say that when a kid is being bullied, like, their main thing to do is stand up. I know there's people that follow this rule that you're not supposed to use violence, and you're not supposed to fight back physically, and stand up to your bully. But I guess that's the only way nowadays, when that's still happening. So man, I don't know. If a kid is being bullied, stand up to that fool. Stand up to that person. And I think that's what I learned. I know it's easy to say it. I know. And for me, I'm not showing off neither that I was like a good fighter and all, but I guess that's what you need to do to prove them that that you can't that they can't be messing with you. And that's basically what happened. After that, nobody was bullying me. But here's a twist. Here's a twist that nobody expected. So this fast forward, I would say 1.5 year. This was now in maybe fourth grade. I started behaving bad, and I I was so confused onto what I was doing in school. I was just a kid, man. I mean, come on, we're talking about fourth grade and all, and I'm the one that became a bully. So now I remember in classrooms, I would always used to hit, like, be playing around, fooling around, calling people names out and all that, and at recess time and all, I would start landing punches and all that, and it's not something that I'm proud of doing, but at the same time, like, I look back and I think back, like, why was I doing that? Like, what made me do that? So I basically went from being bullied to being a bully. So now I was getting in trouble most of my recess now, lunch breaks, whatever you call it. I would always spend them in at the office. So straight from the classroom, go to the office. You got your lunch there and all. So I got suspended from two schools. Actually, yeah, it was two schools. So the first school, they just, like, after so many detentions, so many time spending in my recess, always sending me to the front office, getting in trouble with the principal, with the teachers, with the students, everyone. They just finally had it. And so they call my parents, tell them we're gonna have to send your kid to a different school. We can't, literally, they just said that we can't handle this kid here anymore. So I went to another school. There, I went to a different school. From there on, man, I had to establish again who was the badass guy, who was the tough guy. That's how I felt. So I started doing the bullying again. I started, I don't even want to say this, but I started lifting girls' skirts and all that. And once again, I am not proud of saying this, but it's just like something that I like to tell, I guess. But it's not because I want to sound like a badass or want to be a badass. But I remember calling out people's names. Like I said again, this was my second school already. So again, a lot of detentions. Most of my recess spent it at the front office with the principal, sitting next to the principal, keeping me in check. And once again, I would say 3 months later, again, the principal was like, we can't handle this kid anymore. We're going to have to send him to a different school, And once again, they sent me to a different school. Now this was around 5th grade, I believe so, 5th grade and 6th grade. We started, it was the same thing all over again. And this is the only school now, we're talking elementary, that were kind of being more easy on me, I guess, because they actually handled me from 5th grade to 6th grade now, so they were cool. But I was pretty much the same guy, always fighting, always kind of thinking that I was a badass. But let me tell you a secret, though. and this is where things are like a WTF moment, because it's like I now realize that when I was the bad guy, the bad kid, you know, a lot of girls were into me, man. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy to say this, but a lot of, I guess, like a lot of more girls were into me, and I was like not popular. I was never popular in school, so forget about that. But I was like, you know, they were kind of connecting more in me. Like, you know, I like this bad kid. I like this bad kid. So, you know, but fast forward, I turned into a good kid, and I got nothing, man. But that's going too far. So now I'm in sixth grade. Sixth grade is basically, for us here. I don't know if it's different in other schools. Here it was sixth grade. It was basically your the last grade before going to junior high, which is middle school. And sixth grade, it was obviously same thing. Always getting in trouble, missing field trips because I was always in trouble. You know, I remember we had this one program called Dare, which it was like an program taught at schools by a police officer. I was always in trouble with that, and I guess at the end of the year, completing that program, they would give you a free T-shirt and take you to a field trip. I don't remember correctly, but anyway, since I was always in trouble, wow, man, like I missed the field trip. The officer said, you know what, you don't deserve a free T-shirt, so you're not gonna get shit. That's how bad it was. This was sixth grade. Okay. I almost forgot. Also, I think it was fourth grade. I remember I was carrying one of those water jugs for sports drink. I don't know what the cap. Those little pull-up things. I don't know what their specific name is. I remember carrying orange juice in that thing. So I don't know, at some point I forgot that I had orange juice, and I just stopped filling it up, whatever. So after probably 2 weeks or so on, this orange juice was already, obviously, from sitting there in my just in my backpack there. It was smelling bad, of course, because it was orange juice from sitting there for a long time. So I remember this one time we were in a classroom. I open it up, and I just throw it at, without knowing that that thing was filled with old ass juice. I throw it. I think I throw it to another student, and I did that on purpose. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know for what reason. I wouldn't remember. So now, like, this thing was obviously reeking, smelling like sour, almost like beer, and that's what I'm going for. So this kid pretty much starts making up this assumption. Oh, Ramiro is carrying beer. He threw just beer at me. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't even know, you know. So I was like, but I obviously knew that wasn't beer, because why would I be drinking beer at that age? So yeah, this freaking kid just created that whole rumor of me carrying beer to school in fourth grade. Keep in mind, in fourth grade. So obviously he tells the teacher on me. The teacher smells that thing. Obviously it's reeking. It does almost smell like beer. I don't know. You might have to give it a test and see that orange juice from sitting there for a long time. It can actually smell like old beer too. So now the teacher's like, whoa, I'm gonna call the cops on you. And at first I thought he was just joking around. Like, there was no way that he actually thinks that that's beer. But he does call the front office. So now they call the cops on me. They called a cop on me. Later on, after school, everyone left. They tell me, okay, stay here. An officer's gonna come and pick you up. And I thought they were joking around. I never thought it was true. So now an officer shows up at the classroom, picks me up, and we go to the front office. You know, basically asks me, "What are you carrying there?" I'm like, "This is orange juice. This is no way. This is freaking beer. Why would I be carrying beer? You know?" So on, the freaking officer just smells that thing. He actually thought that it was beer, but now I guess they call my mom, and they all pretty much cleared this out, and they came to the conclusion that it wasn't beer. It was orange juice that was sitting there for about 2 weeks, and they just let me go. But that's kind of sucks, man, because they just made me look and feel like a goddamn criminal when the officer was pretty much walking me to the front office. A lot of the students that would stay there after school, they were all just looking at me, you know, like I was some sort of damn criminal. Fast forward to 6th grade, and you know, basically they, like I said, they actually, I was surprised they actually, there was a few times that the principal was like, we can't take this kid anymore. This kid has been suspended from 2 different schools. I don't know what we're gonna do. They were actually planning on sending me to a different school, but I remember my dad used to like tell them, you know, he's just a kid. Give him another chance, and they were so kind on giving me another chance, and yeah, I kind of pulled it off from 4th grade to 6th grade in that school. So, you know, I really appreciate those teachers that really gave me another chance. But man, 6th grade, this was our last day. This was our last day before. This was the last day of school before going out for vacation. And the next year, obviously, we were heading out to middle school. So it was the last day, officially the last day of 6th grade. So a lot of my friends and I, we came up with this damn idea. We're gonna do this huge ass cafeteria fight, food fight. So we're like, you know, it's our last day. What can happen? So everyone was chilling at the cafeteria. We were all eating our foods with our trays. Some guy, you know, started chanting, "Food fight, food fight, food fight." He starts throwing I think it was one of those small milk jugs, cartons or whatever. And everyone just started throwing food at each other. And everyone. It was a huge mess. So we thought we were going to get away with it because it was the last day of school. And obviously, like I said, the next year we were just going to head out to middle school. So now the principal comes and give us a good lecture. Why would you kids do this? This is your last day. You guys thought this, you were gonna get away with this. Obviously now we're gonna send a report to the middle school and tell you what you guys did. Tell them what you guys did and all. So we ended up staying for around 2-3 hours cleaning up everything. They gave us buckets of water and some cleaning rags, whatever, and we started cleaning the windows, the tables, everything. It was so ridiculous and so stupid because we thought we were gonna get away with it. But man, I guess that was the end of my era as a bad kid, I should say. Then after that day right there, we head out to, then obviously we went on vacation. Then after that we started middle school. In middle school I was a nice guy, man, but like I said, I turned into a nice guy, and now I started losing friends, and then more specifically female friends. So, you know, now I was like the nerdy kid, I guess. And from middle school to high school, now I was the normal unpopular kid. So I stopped being a bad kid, and just this dork. So, but anyways, guys, this was a brief story of how I started being bullied to becoming a bully. It is obviously not something that I'm proud of doing, because obviously I just want to let you guys know that it's obviously what everything that I said here, it wasn't actually that wasn't all. There was more. Like, there was a lot more stuff that we used to do that probably I don't even have the guts to say it right now, because that might get me in trouble. Who knows, you know? So, but there was a lot of crazy stuff going on when I was in elementary, doing a lot of crazy things that I'm not happy on doing them, but it's just like, you know, part of our memory lane, and we go back and reminisce about those times, and what else can we do, you know? But other than that, I mean, I think that's a childhood, man. Like, at least that didn't got me into bad trouble, and further down the road, I fixed up everything, my life. Even though like I said, I turned into a dork, I ended up being a nice guy, and I'm still a nice guy. I think a brief thing you can learn from this story right here is to, if you are a victim of a bully, if you are being bullied, stand up to the bully, man. Like, you know, the worst that can happen is, you know, getting a few cuts and all. And I'm not saying this to be fucked up or anything, but I guess, like, it's sad to say this, but that's the only way you're gonna be able to stand up to a bully. Because now, like, and this used to happen obviously in my time as a little kid too, that I would tell on teachers, they wouldn't believe me, and that's still happening. You know, unfortunately, the kids that are being bullied, they tell the teacher the best they can do is just talk to the parents, and the parents of the bully don't do anything, and so on. So it's crazy, because I'm in the two sides. I was bullied, and I was a bully, so it's just really bad. But yeah, it's pretty much what you can do. Me personally, right now, obviously I don't have kids or anything, but if me personally, if one day my kid or my my son will come up to me and tell me that she is being bullied, you know, that's automatically the first thing that I'm gonna tell them. Stand up to them, fight back. You know, what's the worst that can happen? Just a little old ass, good ass beat up, and that's it, you know? But I think it's better to do that than being mentally beat up and you know, having this to result in a suicide or worse, you know, worse things. So anyways, guys, I'm not gonna talk too much about this. Thank you so much if you stuck here with me throughout the story. I'm gonna probably do this story time things more often, because I have a lot of things to talk about, but I just want to create a little content right here. Want to remind you again, guys, please subscribe, like the video, share the channel, make this channel blow up. I'll see you in the next video.